The homicide rate in the United States is something that you can't trifle with. Between 2019 and 2020, the number sharply increased by 30%, based on the data published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. In the recent data, it is mentioned that there are roughly 8 homicides per 100,000 people. Accordingly, this figure also coincides with the crime statistics provided by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. One of the notable aspects of this phenomenon is that experts are unsure what has caused the increase in the homicide rate. Some suggest that it is due to the social disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the economic downfall that followed after it. We can't also downplay the possibility that the increase in gun ownership has something to do with it. Hello everyone, this is Sean from PackAndGo, and in this video I've listed all the states in America with the highest murder rates. Stick until the end so that you'll get to know these areas. Before we start, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons, it helps the channel a lot. Now, let's get started. South Carolina. Let us start with South Carolina. The latter is a southeastern state known widely for its multi-kilometer strips of subtropical beaches. It also flaunts its beautiful coastal communities and attractions, as well as those alluring sea islands. But hiding behind the majestic natural wonders of South Carolina is its seemingly high murder rates. In 2020, the murder rate in the area was about 549, or roughly 10.5 for every 100,000 individuals. During that year, that number is the 5th highest throughout the country. If you're going to compare it with the national homicide rate of 6.5 per 100,000 people, you can already see the prevalence of murder cases in the area. Several reasons are pointed out as to why there's an increase in homicide cases in South Carolina. The increase in its population is said to be a factor. The U.S. Census Bureau mentioned that the population of the state ballooned to 5.19 million in 2021, which is 60,000 higher than the previous year. At the same time, it has to be taken into account that economic collapse brought by COVID-19 pandemic might have resulted in the overall increase in the crime rates in South Carolina. Arkansas. As a landlocked state, Arkansas is brimming with wilderness areas and parks. Most of its terrain covers numerous land and water formations, such as hot springs, rivers, caves, and mountains. The flourishing Ozarks region is located on its northwest, allowing the residents of the state to access different limestone caves and hiking trails. Despite the wonderful natural wonders situated in Arkansas, the state is still riddled with crime problems. Its murder rate in particular is significantly high, which is quite alarming. According to the FBI's 2020 Uniform Crime Report, there was a total of 321 murders that happened in Arkansas in 2020. This is about 10.6 murders per 100,000 people, and is significantly higher than the national homicide rate, which is about 6.5 per 100,000. Keep in mind that the numbers are just the reported ones. It is speculated that some killings didn't make it to the police records at all. The state's homicide rate has a dramatic increase as well, specifically at 36%, from 7.8 per 100,000 in 2019, it shot up to 10.6 per 100,000 in 2020. In 2020, the number of violent crimes that took place in the state increased. It is also the highest in over 3 decades, exceeding the national rate for violent crimes for 16 straight years already. As of 2020, the rate in Arkansas is 672 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. These violent crimes include murder, aggravated, and robbery. The continuous trend is said to be aggravated by the economic and social changes caused by the pandemic. Furthermore, local experts suggest that the growth of population in the small cities of Arkansas, such as Jacksonville and Conway, has also contributed to the increasing rates of violent crimes. Staying sharp and on guard would help you avoid being a victim of these crimes while in the state. It's better to be safe than sorry. Mississippi. Mississippi is a state situated within the heart of the southern region of the United States. One of its famous tourist spots, the Mississippi River, is located to its west. Meanwhile, it's bordered by the Gulf of Mexico on the south and the proud state of Alabama to the east. Interestingly, Mississippi is also considered the progenitor of blues music. Mississippi should be a peaceful state, but for some reason, it is home to some of the highest murder cases in the entire country. In 2020, the state had tallied 315 murders, or 10.6 murders for every 100,000 people. That's pretty high already. In that year, it is the third highest murder rate among all states in the country. The gravity of the situation is further cemented by the fact that the national homicide rate in 2020 has an average of 6.5 per 100,000. It is clear as daylight that the murder problem in Mississippi is something that can be downplayed. The murder cases in Mississippi form a large chunk of the more extensive violent crime category. The good news, though, is that the total violent crime rate is lower than the national average. Specifically, there were a total of 291 violent crimes per 100,000 people in Mississippi in 2020. In contrast, the national average during that year for violent crime is 399 per 100,000. But of course, this doesn't mean that you can take the situation lightly. That number alone indicates the overall crime rate in the state is pretty high. In 2020, it has been reported that Jackson, one of Mississippi's cities, records a higher murder rate than Atlanta. According to authorities, there's something wrong going on with the place, as Atlanta is 4 times bigger than Jackson when it comes to population. Despite this, crimes happen there almost on a daily basis. Missouri. Within the Midwestern part of the United States, you'll find the bustling state of Missouri. It's bordered by 8 states such as Arkansas, Kansas, Nebraska, and Illinois. Of course, Missouri is also one of the most populated states in the country. It has 6 million residents, mostly residing in its urban conurbations such as Columbia, Springfield, and Jefferson City, which is the state's capital. Despite the flourishing rapport of Missouri, it is still riddled with a high crime rate. In 2020, there were around 723 murders that took place within the state. This translates to roughly 12 deaths for every 100,000 people. If you're going to compare that with the national homicide rate of 6.5 per 100,000 people, it's evident that Missouri is not doing well when it comes to this aspect. The number of violent crimes in Missouri is pretty high as well. Cases of aggravated assault and robbery are always on the news. There's also a significant number of reported cases in the area. However, as it stands right now, it is still murder that has the most significant impact. Overall, the total crime rate in Missouri is higher than the national average. In 2020, the number of violent crimes in the area sat at 543 for every 100,000 individuals. The national average for violent crime is 399 per 100K. So you can already see the contrast there. Despite this, its government and police departments claim that people should have nothing to worry about. However, proper caution is still recommended. Louisiana. One of the states with the highest murder rates is Louisiana. This state within the Deep South regions has experienced a sharp increase in its murder rates in recent years, proving that its total violent crimes will continue to escalate. As of 2020, there were 734 murders that took place within the state. This translated to about 16 murders for every 100,000 people. It is considered to be one of the highest throughout the entire country. Keep in mind that the national homicide rate is just 6.5 per 100,000. Evidently, the murder rate in this state is almost thrice bigger than the national average. Alongside robbery, rape, and assault, murder is one of the biggest components of total violent crimes in Louisiana. In fact, its total violent crime rate is also bigger than the national average. Specifically, there were a total of 639 violent crimes per every 100,000 people recorded in Louisiana in 2020. In the same year, the national average is 399 per 100,000 nationwide. Again, this indicates that different types of violent crimes perpetuate in this state. Again, there are several factors that could explain why Louisiana is experiencing a steep escalation in its homicide rate. The increasing number of people who have guns is one of the possible reasons for this. This is why gun regulations make sense, as they could regulate ownership and crack the circulation of illegal firearms and weapons. Of course, the economic disaster caused by the COVID-19 pandemic is a reason as well. A significant number of the crimes that took place in Louisiana are related to robbery and theft. Financial volatility can really push people to commit crimes for survival. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more videos like this, just hit the like and subscribe buttons. I will see you next time. Stay safe.